You all would like to join me in the Lord's Prayer, if you would like to stand. Join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Commissioner Foster, would you lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call the meeting of the Sevier County Board of Commissioners to order. And call the roll, and commissioners, if you will, mark present. Madam Clerk, can you announce the roll call?
24 present, 1 absent.
We do have a quorum. We are moving now to item number 3, and let me say that we're going to have to postpone this to next month because item number 3 was consideration of a proclamation to recognize the Gatlinburg-Pittman High School girls basketball team on advancing to the state tournament. So tonight is graduation at Gatlinburg-Pittman, and I think everybody involved got it mixed up. So we are going to reschedule this because of the conflict, and without objection, I'm going to roll this proclamation to next month unless we have an objection. Okay, hearing no objection, then we'll roll the proclamation to next month. We'll move now to item number 4, which is consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please bring the proposed minutes to the floor for action? We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Do we have any discussion, corrections, or additions to the minutes as presented? Hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk, would you move to the voting screen? Commissioners, would you cast your votes? Anyone like to change their vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Minutes are properly approved. Now we're down to item number 5, which is report from commission committees. Madam Clerk, would you please bring the proposed reports to the floor for action to be taken? Motion and a second to approve the commission committee minutes. Do we have any discussion or questions concerning the committee minutes? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please advance to the voting screen? Commissioners, would you please cast your votes? Would anyone like to change a vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
24 yes votes. The committee minutes are approved. We'll now move to item number 6. And first we have the public comment on agenda items, and we did not have any requests to comment on agenda items. So we will move to the next item, which is a public hearing. And at this time, we'll have a public hearing on the rezoning request as noted in resolutions 2024-0501 and 2024-0502. When I open the hearing, if you wish to comment on either one of those, you can step to the podium and give us your name. You have 3 minutes to talk about them. So I will now officially open the public hearing, and the address of the 2 rezoning resolutions are, the first one is 3280 Lost Branch Road, and the next one is 465 Alder Branch Road. So I will now open the public hearing.
My name is Sandy Owens, and what else did you need from me?
That's all.
That's all, no
which one
address.
you want to?
3280 Lost Branch Road.
Okay.
And tonight, I would like to request that be removed from your agenda until I have time to get with the staff to further study that. If I may do so.
Okay. We will take that into consideration when the commission, when I close the public hearing, then we'll move to that item for a vote. We'll take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the audience that would like to speak? Anyone else that would like to speak to either one of these motions? Okay, seeing no other one interested in speaking to either one of these motions, I will close the public hearing comment period, and we will now move to item number 7, which is consideration of resolution 2024-05-01, which is to amend the zoning resolution for Sevier County, Tennessee by rezoning tax map 93, parcel 117.02 from R1 rural residential to C1 rural commercial. It's 3280 Lost Branch Road, and it went for the Pigeon Forge Regional Planning Commission. Their recommendation was against. You heard the public comment we had. Before that, I'll recognize our planner, Mr. Temple, if he has any comments he wants to make.
If the applicant wishes to, remove it, Mayor, that would be fine.
Chairman, I put that formal motion to the second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that this resolution be postponed and time which be reconsidered. Do we have any discussion or questions on the resolution? Okay. Hearing no questions, Madam Clerk, would you please move to the voting screen? And we are voting on the motion to postpone the consideration of item number 7 to a later date, at which time the planning department will bring it back. We have a motion and a second to approve that. Now, ready to vote? We've got a motion and a second. Voting screen. Now, commissioners, we're voting on the motion to postpone this resolution to be brought back by the Planning Commission. If you would now cast your votes. Yes vote would be to postpone, and no vote would be to consider it tonight. Anyone like to change your vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Resolution number 7 has been postponed to a later date, which will be brought back to the Commission by our planning office. Next is item number 8, which is Consideration of Resolution 2024-0502. Amend the zoning resolution for Sevier County, Tennessee by rezoning tax map 27, parcel 30.02 from R1 Rural Residential District to A1 Rural Agricultural District, which is 465 Alder Branch Road. Requested by Mr. Spencer, and the Sevierville Regional Planning Commission recommendation is against. So I will recognize our planner, Mr. Temple. I'd like to discuss this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a piece of property out off Alder Branch Road. The applicants requested to rezone it from R1. It's in a residential subdivision. Everything around it is R1. Their request was to downzone it to A1 so they could do some type of agricultural business there on the corner of their property. Sevierville's Planning Commission felt like that because everything around this is R1 zone, to rezone that down to A1 would potentially be considered spot zoning. It's a very small tract of land, so they voted against it. And the planning department concurs with that recommendation to vote to deny the request.
What's the acreage?
You've heard
It's about 9/10 of an acre, a little less than an acre.
Mr. Temple,
Yeah.
what can they do with it now on the,
I mean, they have a house on it,
yeah,
and that's where they live, and drain field in the front yard, and they wanted to do something down on the front. They really didn't have sell fruits and vegetables or something, but if they wanted to build not just a temporary stand during season, they wanted to build a store. So it'd have to have parking and come off the road, and our concern was, even if it was, I don't know that we could, even approve it because of the size of the lot, where they have to put another, it's not a very big lot for a semi-commercial development. So.
question from the commission.
So the motion would be to deny the recommendations.
Either have a motion to deny or a motion to approve. Got a motion and a second right now. Is that motion the second to deny? Okay, we have a motion and a second to deny the request. Motion and a second. So, Madam Clerk, would you move to the voting screen? Yes. If you vote yes, you're voting to deny it. If you vote no, you're voting to consider it denied. Yes is a vote to deny. Yeah, that's clear as it can be, isn't it? Commissioners, please cast your votes. Any commissioner like to change their vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Thank you.
Chairman, can I ask just one question?
Yes, sir.
This is in the county, not the city limits.
That is in the county. It's in their planning region, so they hear the recommendations. They make the recommendations for or against a rezoning in Sevierville's planning region and Pigeon Forge's, and then they bring them to my office, and we bring them to county commission. Yes. So, yeah.
Okay, the next resolution is Number 9, which is consideration of Resolution 2024-0503, which is confirm the appointment of commissioners to the committees of Sevier County Board of Commissioners. And what this resolution does is put Commissioner Melissa Godfrey on all of the committees that Commissioner Chuck Godfrey was on. So that is, in essence, what this resolution does. And Madam Clerk, would you move to the voting screen? Have a motion and a second to approve that. And now, Commissioners, would you cast your votes? I didn't give anybody an opportunity to make any comments. I'll open the floor for any comments you might have, and then you can cast your vote. Okay, seeing everyone has cast their vote, would anyone like to change their vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Resolution properly adopted. Consideration of Resolution 240504, which is to set the certain speed limits. You have those in your packet. Resolution recommended by the Transportation Committee. So, Madam Clerk, would you please move to the voting screen? We have a second. This has been recommended by the Transportation Committee. We have 2 speed limits on it. One is Maple Crest Lane, 25 miles per hour. The other is Landmark Boulevard, 25 miles per hour. Any questions or comments concerning the request for speed limits? Hearing none, and we have moved to voting screen. So, Commissioners, would you please cast your votes? Anyone like to change your vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Okay, the resolution has been properly adopted. We're down to notaries now, Madam Clerk.
We have 37 notaries.
37 notaries. If we could, voting screen for notaries, please. Have we got a motion and a second? Okay, my computer up here says something. There we go. Now it's right. Got a motion and a second. We have moved to the voting screen. Any discussion or question on the notaries? Hearing none. Commissioners, would you please cast your votes? Anyone like to change your vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you please announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
4 yes votes. No notaries are hereby approved. We're down to item number 12 under other business.
Chairman,
Mr. Delius.
I have a motion that I'd like the commission to consider tonight. Put in the form of a motion to name the new courts building after Rex Henry Ogle.
Second.
And declare the name, the official name of that building, along with other specific named areas within the building, and an official resolution in the June meeting of this commission.
I will entertain a motion to place this item on the agenda as a, Got a motion, we have a second. Now, do we have any discussion? We're on the motion, which would put it on tonight's agenda. And I'm going to do that by a show of hands, right?
You can, or we can do it on the system, so it'll log it if you'd like.
Okay, if you can do it on the system, we'll do it on the system. This is a motion to declare this an emergency item and place it on the agenda tonight.
And then I believe it was Commissioner Cole made the motion, correct?
Yes, Cole made motion, Woods seconded.
Okay, we'll change that real quick. Can you change that and have it?
Got a motion and a second.
Yes, sir.
We could move to the voting screen. Now, commissioners, if you would cast your votes, we're casting a vote on placing this item on the agenda as emergency item tonight. Anyone like to change your vote? Hearing no request to change the vote, Madam Clerk, would you announce the vote?
24 yes votes.
Okay, 24 yes votes. It has been placed on the agenda. Now we are on the original motion made by Commissioner Delius. That original motion is to name the courts building after Judge Rex Henry Ogle, and also that the other named areas and the complex will be named in a resolution at our June commission meeting. So that is the motion, and that has been properly seconded. And moving to that now.
Okay. So.
Okay. That motion has been made and seconded. If you advance to the voting screen, and now I'll open the floor for any comments or discussion concerning the motion. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please advance to the voting screen? Commissioners, would you please cast your vote? Okay. Have we voted? No. We haven't? Yeah, we can. Show hands here.
All right, they should list you. You should raise your hand to start.
Yeah, the machine's ahead of itself. It's showing it.
It's voted for you guys.
Yeah, it's showing that the motion passed. So what I'm going to do is ask for a show of hands, and this would be in favor of the resolution, which is to name the new court building after Judge Rex Henry Ogle, and that in the June meeting we'll have a larger resolution which contains other names as well as the full name of the building. So, unless there's other discussion, I'm going to say that all in favor of this resolution, please indicate so by raising your hand.
24.
What I got. Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, the resolution passes, and we'll pass that along. And as I said, there will be another resolution that'll be more specific and have other names in it on our agenda. We are down to public comment on non-agenda items. Yes, I'm sorry.
I have a point of privilege. Before we move off of this, move on to other things that take an adjournment, Judge Ogles at Vanderbilt Hospital. And so if any commission would consider us FaceTiming his wife, he doesn't have the technology to do that, but she does. And just explain what the commission's done tonight, I think it probably would give him boost of, encouragement.
Yeah, we'll, Commissioner Delis, we'll try to do that after we adjourn. How's that? So now we have public comment on non-agenda items. We're down to that. And I have two requests to comment, and you can come to the microphone and just state your name, and you have 3 minutes to comment. And we have, I'll recognize first Mr. Michael Grizzle. Is that accurate? I hope so.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and each commissioner for allowing me to speak tonight. Sevier County veterans also thank the group for establishing the Sevier Veteran Service Officer 40 years ago, and then approving and establishing the Sevier County VA Clinic in 2013. My name is Michael Grizzle. I am a member of the Sevier County Veterans Coalition. This group is made up of members from the Sevier County Veterans Service Office, American Legion Post 104, American Legion Post 202, Disabled American Veterans Chapter 94, VFW Post 10025, VFW Post 12199. We honor veterans programs of UT Hospice, the William C. Talent Veteran Homeless and Suicide Prevention Coordinator, the Veterans Heritage Site Foundation, and the CARES Volunteer Services. We've been meeting since late 2021 and recently been reviewing some information from the Veteran Service Office, which we salute Jesse Inman and Robert Ford for all the work that they've been doing. Over the past few months, they have assisted people and veterans by the hundreds, processed thousands of forms in support of veterans' issues. The glaring issue from our review is that there's a number of veterans that have not been served, either due to inability to get through on the phone, since the VSOs are with veterans, they're not answering the phone at that time, or they walk up and they're with veterans and they walk away. And those are the ones that we're really concerned about, because we hope that those veterans that walked away continue to contact the VSO to discuss their issue. And whatever their issue is, we pray that they're still safe. Unfortunately, these incidents will and have continued to increase due to recent legislation by the federal government, the Mission Act, Camp Lejeune Justice Act, and the PACT Act. These federally unfunded mandated legislations have increased the interest of veterans and their families to qualify, see if they qualify for benefits. The lawyer advertisements are becoming very unnerving when it comes to assisting the veterans in their efforts, and they charge exorbitant amounts, percentages for filing the forms and then following it up, which our VSOs do at no cost to the veteran or the spouses. We believe that the 7,500 plus veterans of Sevier County could be better served if the Veteran Service Office had an administrative assistant to answer the phone, greet guests, give out basic information, and help those that walk up to the window. Thank you for your time and your consideration as coming to a solution for this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Perry Rucker.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm Perry Rucker. I'm a veteran. Mr. Rozelle laid out the program beautifully. I'm not going to attempt. I'm just going to try to give you an idea of why this is so critical. My father-in-law was a World War II veteran, a medic, private first-class medic in the Army at the Battle of the Bulge. He crawled through the mud, the blood, and the snow to service his wounded comrades. He was wounded himself, got the Bronze Star, wound up being captured by the Germans and put in Stalag 13. He came out physically and mentally broken. He lost over 70 pounds while he was in prison, even though that was very late in the war, 6 months or 8 months before the end of the war. They got their piece of him. He came back into civilian life and tried to adjust. He called the VA desperately one time because he needed help. He called and he called. He never got through, and he took his own life. I never got to know my father-in-law, partially because he was unable to get the assistance he needed. And so we don't know what the calls and the walk-ins are. It may be someone who just needs help getting a DD-214 copy. It may be someone who desperately needs someone to pay attention to him to save his life. And that's why we think it's so important. I know you guys are in the process of looking and considering the proper manning and funding of the service center. I just want to encourage you to really give that some thought and help the veterans in your community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that, gentlemen. And this is in the process of being reviewed in the budget. I'll let you know that is taken very seriously, and this commission and the mayor's office have been very supporting of veterans and will continue to be, and working with our veteran service officer, Jesse, to evaluate the need to try to figure out what's going on, and things we've already figured out is we've got a lot of, and we want to serve veterans, but we've got a lot of veterans coming from counties around us that don't have full-time veteran service offices, which is a concern within itself. But we think we have a number coming, and we want to help everybody. Don't misunderstand me. But our priority is Sevier County veterans because our taxpayers are paying for the office. And so that's our priority, but we do want to help everybody. But we're trying to evaluate all this, and the Budget Committee will be evaluating it, and certainly going to take whatever action is appropriate to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. Just want you to know that. Thank you for coming and speaking today. Okay, that concludes our public. We have a motion to adjourn. We have a second.
We got an update on our revenue, what's going on?
Okay. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, just to give you a quick update, I spoke to a majority of you at the last intergovernmental or budget committee meeting last week, and since then I've had the opportunity to speak to, I had spoken to Spectrum and I've spoken to Comcast now, and both of them just wanted to continue to reiterate that first and foremost that Sevier County is a priority community for them, and they are continuing to see what they can do to come into Sevier County. For instance, Spectrum in the last 24 months has put internet into a little over 4,000 homes. And so with that, what they've been able to do with the grant funding that they received on this last round of funding is they were able to basically, the way they told it to me is they were able to go to home number one on their funds. Home number two was paid for by the grant dollars, et cetera, on the way up to that 4,000. The representative from Comcast I spoke to didn't have exact numbers, but I told them what Spectrum had done, and they thought they were somewhere in that same neighborhood. One of the things that has changed, I believe, since the last time we spoke is the the BEAD challenge map is now open. And what that is, it gives you an opportunity to go in and look at each individual address in Sevier County, whereas before the map was used to look at based on the census tract. So within each census tract, if there was one home in that census tract that had internet, it was saying the map showed that everyone had that. And I believe the last map for the old census tract said roughly like 98% of Sevier County residents and homes had internet. I think it's fair to say that not even 98% of the commissioners have internet. And so we know that that was a false map. The BEAD map seems to be much better in that if you're in the city limits, it is a very green map, which means that there is internet. And if you're in the outskirts or maybe even outside of the communities such as our Kodak and Seymour communities, those were also very green as you continue to go out into the community, out towards Wares Valley, Jones Cove, out towards the lake, it got into more of a yellow or a red, which meant underserved or unserved. So what they'll be able to do is Comcast and Spectrum are both looking at that map to see the providers that they currently have on record. Is that correct? If it is, they're moving forward to see, okay, making sure what the next address is, the closest address from there. So Spectrum and Comcast, they will be the ones that will be applying for the grant to come into Sevier County, and the state of Tennessee will be giving those funds to Spectrum, Comcast, and I believe also AT&T. I have not been able to speak to an AT&T representative recently, but they will have a 3-year time limit. Once they are given those funds, which is probably going to be sometime at the end of this calendar year is when that will be awarded, they will have 3 years to utilize those funds to go into the community to better serve our community. And then also not only to go into the homes, but also to go to our community, I'm calling them, community centers, such as your schools, maybe boys and girls clubs, et cetera, like that, to where there'll be places where people can use those areas for internet for free as well. Yes, sir.
I had spoken to Carter about grant allocation by the state of Tennessee a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah, so what that was, I believe that was the middle mile or the last mile. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the two of those. But that was from the initial band of money, I believe, that came out shortly after COVID. It's around 2000, early 21. And they took that, and it, middle mile, meaning you've got internet here, you've got internet here, the middle kind of connecting those two areas. Sevier County wasn't eligible for that because that was all based off the census tract map, the old map that has now gone away. When I said, roughly 98% of Sevier County had internet, because it was looking at the census tract, but then it was showing if you had the capability to have like the satellite internet, like Elon Musk's internet, or maybe some of these other communities that you might see out on the outskirts of the community, have those. And of course we know that those just aren't a very reliable speed aspect. I believe for the underserved communities, I think if it's underserved, it's under 50 megabytes of upload and download speed. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain what that means because I don't really know. But with this, for it to be a served community, it has to be over 100 megabyte speed. So if you have internet but it's slow, you're considered to be underserved, and that's also where these providers will be able to go out and to help those residents.
are there monies out there available for the underserved community? So really, that's who we need to be addressing.
Absolutely, yeah. So of this money with this BEAD program, and there is roughly $800 million that's going to come to the state of Tennessee. So with that it's going to go to the underserved communities first. Once the underserved communities are served, then it would go to the unserved first, and then the underserved. And then if there happen to be any funds left over at that point, it would maybe go into the served communities just to make them a little bit faster. Or if maybe it's an old line that's been there for several years. Yes, sir.
Other questions? Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we leave. Our next meeting will be June 24th. It'll be a special call session. At that time, we will consider the budget and all the resolutions connected to the budget and setting the tax rate and so forth. The other thing before I recognize the motion to adjourn is I think we have a commissioner's had a birthday, Commissioner Chad Ogle. I'm not sure which birthday it is. He may not want to announce that. It's 50. Ought to be 50. Ought to be 50 again, right? Happy birthday. Okay, anything else? We have a motion and a second to adjourn, I think. And all in favor of adjourning, please rise. We're adjourned. Thank you. Yes.